like Adriana and Julia. I mean, he can't control himself. But by the way, people have asked Adriana, and the Haitian mortician was a man. And then she comes out that you had sex with a cop, which was also a man. She is in the comments, Adriana, and she said someone said, were these men or women? She said men. She's posting all over her Instagram all weekend. She was posting pictures of the coffee maker. I'm telling someone, Altoids, call fucking Stacy Rush. Um, and by the way, Stacy, you have to give me a 30%. I take 30% when I bring you business. That's what my ad sales people take. Anyone out there have a client that wants to advertise on this podcast, I will give you 30% of the revenue. If you bring me a client that pays, they pay me $10,000, you get three. That's it. Just bring them to me. You get paid. So real true. That's what my ad sales people get. I have an ad sales team. So you can thank me later, Stacy Rush, for that idea. Someone from Mr. Coffee or Folgers or someone call Adriana de Moura and give her a coffee sponsorship. This is brilliant. She's posting the freaking coffee makers. Adriana, MVP of the show. I've always said that MVP of the season. This will go down in history, I think, as one of the, Rinna is returning, she gets the bunny back from this one, and Ramona falls asleep, and Teresa gets up and pushes Andy down. I mean, we have Monique's binder. This will be a thing where, telling her that she slept with a Haitian mortician. And then Andy's like, I'm a little confused. Like, why did you have to give the coffee maker back? And I mean, Larsa's face don't move, but like Lisa Hochstein is like, whatever. Stephanie Shoji is just like, what? She can't even help it. She's laughing. She's laughing the way Andy wants to laugh. She can't even believe what's going on. It is so funny. It really is so funny. I'm sorry. So that's great. Also in the reunion, another great part is when Julia is crying. Look, Guerdy said that she got, what are the words she used? Which I agree with Guerdy. Guerdy is saying that she got the blame shift edit. I agree with her. I mean, I don't know how Julia, and yes, I see a ton of microaggressions. That's a whole nother show, a show I would love to do sometime. But Julia is there and you cheated on your wife and the babies and the new babies. And I do think Guerdy is getting the blame shift at it, but the sympathy for Julia, I mean, see, and let me issue a word of warning to Miami also. So I think Guerdy got the blame shift edit, and how it is that Julia is then crying and she is getting sympathy. Like that's when Adriana is like, you slept with a Haitian mortician and you had to buy him a coffee maker and then you slept with a cop. Alexia opens her big fucking yapper and is like, and you were one of the women she slept with. Well, that's not the point here, really. Alexia. That was 20 minutes ago. So this is the word of warning that I have to Miami. It really is a true word of warning because it's it's where Jersey was and why Jersey went off the air. Jersey went off the air really because of teams. I mean, anything Melissa said, Margaret would back up. Anything Margaret said, Melissa would back up. Anything Teresa said, Jennifer Aiden would back up. There were teams. There were clear couches and clear teams that Melissa could never do right by Jennifer Aiden. Forget about Teresa and Melissa. It's all the other people around them, except for Switzerland, who really, I guess, whatever. Don't even get me started on Dolores. But Jennifer Aiden would support Teresa no matter what. That is a friend, sure. I just said I would support Wendy if she were my real friend from life. Sure. But this is Housewives. You can't have teams on the show. That's not how it works. It's an ensemble show. So Margaret would stand by Melissa no matter what. Until they didn't. Jackie would stand by them until she switched sides because she wanted to save her job. There were teams, and I'm sitting and watching that when Alexia spoke up and said, well, you were one of her conquests. Let's not. To me, that was like, there are teams. Alexia and Marisol have always been a strong team. Now we have Julia on that team. Larsa is apparently on that team since she's fighting with Lisa. So they seem pretty unified. And then over here you have Adriana and you have Guerdy and you have Hochstein. And so Hochstein was just with Adriana the other night during a watch party. I saw it on Adriana's social. So my point is, My point is, if we're coming back with the whole cast, and I'm starting to think the whole cast is coming back, if we're going to have teams that anything Julia says is bowed down to by Alexia and Marisol, anything that Guerdy says is bowed down to by Adriana, anything that Adriana does, Alexia and Marisol hate, anything that Lisa does, Larsa and Adriana and them hate. If there are real teams, that to me is Jersey territory. There ain't no teams on Salt Lake. Barlow and Meredith hate each other, and now they've worked hard to repair their friendship. And Meredith doesn't really hate Heather Gay. She would be thrilled with her and BravoCon, but she's having a tough season with her now. And Barlow and her, so it's the bad weather broke up and now they're back together. It's fluid. It's fluid. And Angie doesn't like Meredith, but now they're sitting down and Angie's trying to help her. It's fluid. There really are. You tell me who the teams are on Salt Lake. There aren't any. Meredith could be mad at Gay today and tomorrow at Whitney, and Whitney could be mad at Lisa, and then they could have a moment and Mary. There aren't any teams. There might be some nuances where you kind of know who's going to stand up for each other, but you don't know for sure. It's not clear cut. That's why Salt Lake is so great. And I gotta say, even the OC were, yes, and Tamara and Shannon, but not really. They tried to make it work, and Shannon and her had a moment, and then, there's Gretchen, and Heather really likes Gretchen, and she's invited to Alexis's wedding. She has a whole reason for not going, and Parents Weekend. And I got some bones to pick with Heather and Terry because they were in New Haven, and they did Pepe's versus Sally's, and I think they said they like Pepe's better, but I kept watching. But Sally's is much better, Heather Dubrow, so I can't deal with you them there. But that's my thing with Miami. Just they better figure it out because I'm starting to think everybody's coming back, including Julia after this reunion. You kind of almost need her. And don't have these teams when you come back. So more Potomac women are speaking out. We'll see what happens. Oh, and by the way, the point I tried to make is I love then later when Julia is somehow the victim and is crying and is like, I really miss my friendship with Adriana. I really miss my friendship with Adriana. And Adriana is like, do you miss the friendship or do you miss my cooch? She didn't use the word cooch. She used the word that starts with the P. Is that a bad word to say? I don't know. But she's like, you don't miss my friendship. You miss my PUS. And then she goes on. And then no one really hears her. And she says it again. She's like, you don't miss my friend. Do you miss my friendship or do you miss my PUS? And Andy and Lisa Hochstein are like, what the fuck is going on? So great reunion. Let's watch part 3 this week. Adriana, you are the MVP. I agree with you, Guerdy. You got the blame shift edit. I think everyone's now coming back to Miami, and more Potomac women are speaking out. I don't think Karen Huger is going to comment on this, you guys, but somewhere Karen and Ray are like giving each other a high five, and they're like, well, all that drama's off us. Mind you, a DUI 4 times, Karen, is just as bad as this girl. And somewhere far, far west, Dorit Kemsley is justified. Dorit and Karen should call each other and just have a moment because they're both kind of, what's the word? I don't know. They're both it's over. Now we're gonna focus on Wendy. TBD story.